Hello, I'm Jaden, and today I'm going to do an introductory tutorial on object-oriented programming in Roblox. So what I'm going to do is we're going to start by going to the server script storage, and we're going to create a module script, and we're going to call this class. And this is just going to be an example class. Um, if you're doing this for an actual game, you're going to use like something practical, but right now we're just going to call this class, and it is a stand-in for any real class in a game. So the very first thing you want to do anytime you're doing object-oriented programming in Roblox is you need to set the dunder index. You do class dot underscore underscore index is equal to class. So you set the underscore underscore index of the table to itself. And what this does is when you're using a object of the class and you search inside the table, if you can't find the index, it begins to look inside the main class table. Basically, this just allows us to create instances and objects. So if we want to create a new instance of the class, we have to create a method called a constructor, or in Lua, a function. So we're going to write function class.new, and we're going to have a parameter for the name. So what we're going to do is we're going to do local self is equal to a table, and this is our properties for our class. So we're going to have a property called name, which we're going to set equal to the value of name. We're going to have a property called max health, which in this case, we're going to set to 100. And then we're going to have a property called health, which we're going to set to nil. Because what we're going to do is self.health is equal to self.maxHealth. So our health will always start off the same as our max health. And then the very last thing we're going to do is we're going to set the meta table of our self table to the class. And this connects back to this statement here. This just means that if we cannot find an index in self, we're going to search for it in class. And that's why we need to do this to create a class. So we're going to return our self because self is our object, our instance of the class. And if we want to create a method that works on the instance of the class, instead of doing a function class dot, we do function class colon, and we're going to do set health. And we're going to have a parameter for health. And basically, this is what's called a setter. It's a method or function that primarily sets something. So what we're going to do is we're going to set our self.health equal to health. And this code is exactly identical to this. So these two functions are exactly identical. The difference is that if we use the colon, we can call it on an instance of the class itself, where if we use a dot, we have to reference the original table and pass our object as a parameter. So if we're acting on an object of a class, we're always going to use a colon. If we're acting on the original module, we're going to use a dot. So in this case, we would always want to use a colon. And now I'm going to do an example of something called a setter. So we're going to do function class colon get health. Sorry, I don't mean a getter. I don't mean a setter. I mean a getter. That was confusing, and I'm sorry for that. But essentially, all this is going to do is it's going to return the health of our class, and this is all that I really need to show for now. This is the constructor, constructor. And it creates a new instance of the class, and then getters and setters are something that you can use on the class object itself. So now if I'm creating a script and I want to use my class, what I can do is I can require my class. I can do local class equals require, and now Roblox allows you to require from a string. So if you just write dot slash, this means the dot is essentially script.parent slash class. So now we have a reference to our class, and if we want to create a new class object, so I'm going to do local instance of class equals class.new, and we'll name it, yeah, sure, dog, what the AI suggested. And now if I want to do, let's find our instance of class dot health, because we want to find the health. It should give us 100. So it gives us 100. Let me actually change it to just run the code. 100. So now instead, let's say I want to do print instance of class dot name, another property. And it's going to give us dog 100 because this is the name of our class and this is the health of our class, 100. So now if I want to use one of these methods here, first we're going to use the get health. All right. Then what we're going to do instance of class, and we're going to set the health to 1, and then we're going to print our new health. So what we'll do is we'll write original health and we'll do final health. So now when we run it, our original health is 100. We set the health to 1. And now when we run get health, our health is 1. So you may be already able to see how this is tremendously useful for when we're creating games and we want to use classes. I mean, it allows you to create objects for each item. Like let's say I'm creating a dog. Now I'm able to create a dog class, and I might have a function, let's say function class spawn. And in here, I have all of my code to spawn it. And then every time I want to spawn a new dog, all I have to do is write instance of class, which is my dog, spawn. And now this will spawn a dog. And if I want to spawn like 5 dogs, I can do like a for loop. Like I can do maybe even a while loop. Let's say I want to spawn an infinite number of dogs. So I can do repeat spawn the dogs until I don't know, like we could do like you could do whatever you want, and this would spawn a bunch of different dogs, for example. I just dropped my microphone. But anyways, this is just a very rudimentary introduction to object-oriented programming in Roblox, and I hope that this is able to help you and that you're able to take some value from this and use this in your coding in the future. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments, or you can reach out to me on Discord. My Discord is broham_. Thank you. Have a great day.